Thank you so much for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Efrem Graham. Ahead today, Florida residents bracing for catastrophe as Hurricane Idalia intensifies. We've got details. Plus, with mass murders in America at an all-time high, see how one ministry is working to intercept the growing problem.
So Let's Talk to Them is a new initiative that is attempting to reach potential mass shooters, individuals who might be ideating or planning a mass shooting with a message of deterrence and redirection.
Then later, recording artist KB sits down to talk about his new album, his Glory Alone 2.
It's my latest project, and I guess I could put it like this: it's made by the latest version of myself.
Oh, I like that.
And I think that the latest version of myself is a more mature, more vulnerable, a more healed, more focused.
All these stories and more, they're coming up next from the CBN Newsroom.
This is CBN Newswatch.
Want to begin this half hour with Idalia, now a Category 3 hurricane moving ashore in Florida's Big Bend region on the state's northwest coast. Residents there bracing for a potential catastrophe. Dale Hurd has more on our top story.
Idalia's fury. Maximum sustained winds of 130 miles per hour as it approached landfall this morning. Overnight, people in at least 30 Florida counties were placed under evacuation orders, with as many as 300,000 residents vacating their homes. Some residents boarded up windows and filled sandbags.
My son's a law enforcement officer. They have ordered a lot of body bags. They're expecting some fatalities.
Governor Ron DeSantis warned residents in coastal communities who stayed that they would be on their own.
If you do choose to stay in one of the evacuation zones, first responders will not be able to get you until after the storm has passed.
As Idalia gained strength in the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, authorities warned of a catastrophic storm surge and destructive winds as the storm moved ashore. FEMA was also urging families to follow the evacuation orders and get out while there was still time.
If you are in a storm surge warning area, it could mean just traveling 10 or 20 miles to get out of the most significant impact areas.
The utility Tampa Electric is bringing in tens of thousands of workers from more than 20 states as far away as Maine to help restore power after the storm. And 5,500 National Guardsmen are also on high alert. A hurricane watch has been issued for South Carolina, and tropical storm warnings stretch from Florida's east coast up to the North Carolina-Virginia border. And Florida's capital, Tallahassee, is facing the rare threat of hurricane conditions.
This is going to be something that will leave significant impacts, and particularly in this part of the state.
Idalia is forecast across the Florida peninsula and then drench southern Georgia and the Carolinas on Thursday. Both Georgia and South Carolina have announced states of emergency, and CBN's Operation Blessing has been preparing for disaster relief, working to have supplies ready to help those in need in the region. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
A North Carolina grad student is charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of a UNC faculty member. UNC students sheltered in place as armed officers rushed to the scene Monday when the Chapel Hill campus went into lockdown for 3 hours as police searched for and finally caught the suspected gunman.
In the room, the more and more we realized how real it was, we went from sitting there on our social media to barricading doors.
I've only been here a week. You know, you come to college looking for something new, not for a tragedy like this to happen.
The FBI is a part of this investigation, and all classes today are canceled as students cope with that shooting. California's Attorney General is suing the Chino Valley Unified School District over its parental rights policy. Right now, the policy says officials will notify parents within 3 days in writing if a child requests to be identified or treated as a gender other than the student's biological sex, to use a name that differs from their legal name, and to access sex-segregated school programs and activities. The lawsuit is the latest in a battle between a number of school districts and the state regarding the rights of students and their parents. For more on this story, you can visit our website at cbnnews.com. It is back to school week for many children in Washington, D.C. and across America, and back to work for President Biden, who has returned to the district after a week-long vacation with his family in Lake Tahoe. Congress is also preparing to return from summer break and is reportedly planning to come back, floating a possible impeachment inquiry into President Biden and his son Hunter. CBN News White House correspondent Abigail Robertson joins us again and brings us more.
As Congress plans to return to D.C. in 2 weeks, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy claims Republicans have mounting evidence of financial misconduct from President Joe Biden and his son Hunter that could lead to a possible impeachment investigation.
If you look at all the information we've been able to gather so far, it is a natural step forward that you would have to go to an impeachment inquiry.
McCarthy claimed on Fox News that there is a culture of corruption within the Biden family that involves bribery and millions of dollars going to the family through multiple shell companies.
He said he never had any dealings with his son's business, and that he never even talked to him. We've now found out not only did he call into the meetings, he went to dinner, and after the dinner, Hunter Biden got a new Porsche, that there was $3.5 million transferred. We now found out as he was a sitting vice president, the family created 20 shell companies. They received 16 of 17 payments from Romania while he was vice president.
Former President Donald Trump, who was impeached by the House twice, chimed in on Truth Social, calling Biden a stone-cold crook and telling Republicans in Congress to impeach the bum or fade into oblivion. President Biden, who started the work week welcoming kids back to school in D.C., continues to deny he had any involvement in Hunter's overseas business dealings. According to a new Yahoo News YouGov poll, 45% of respondents said they believe the Biden family is corrupt, compared to 53% who believe the Trump family is corrupt. When asked which family is more corrupt, 46 respondents said the Trumps, compared to 36 who said the Bidens. That same poll found 64% of Americans believe Hunter Biden did something illegal.
We can't have a convicted felon as our nominee for president and expect we're going to win.
Presidential candidate Chris Christie reminded voters Hunter Biden is not on the ballot.
The fact is that the two people who would be on the ballot if we nominated Donald Trump will be Donald Trump and Joe Biden, not Hunter Biden. And the fact is, it's the conduct of the people who are running for office that's going to matter the most. We may find out more about President Biden in the months to come. But the fact is, right now, Donald Trump is out on bail in 4 different jurisdictions.
Thus far, Biden's campaign has avoided speaking about the legal troubles facing Hunter. And they're also not focused on Trump's issues either, claiming they want an independent justice system handling both of them. Reporting from the White House, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Coming up, stopping mass murderers before they pull the trigger, how a new program is helping potential shooters and curbing the nation's epidemic of violence. We've got the story for you coming up right here on CBN Newswatch. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Terry Mewson, and I'm here to tell you how the CBN animated Bible series Superbook is transforming the lives of millions of children around the world. Your help is urgently needed because it's during these critical years of childhood that most people make their lifelong decision to follow Jesus.
Because of Superbook, I've come to know God.
You can be part of this critical mission with a gift of any amount. Go to cbn.com/share the gospel.
Welcome back to CBN Newswatch. At this point of 2023, mass murders are at their highest rate in 17 years. Most attackers are young people struggling with mental and emotional issues who research their plans on the internet. Now, an online ministry is using high-tech search tools to identify potential shooters and to connect them with the help they need. As CBN's Brody Carter reports, the goal is to redirect their path before they pick up a gun.
Given the staggering growth of these violent deaths, national leaders and experts often find themselves dealing with aftermath rather than planning on prevention. One of the more frightening statistics is the number of deadly mass shootings carried out by somebody 21 or younger. That's become a focus for the Let's Talk to Them initiative.
We believe that individuals who are both suicidal and have some deep-seated anger, maybe hatred, maybe vengeance, probably at some point will contemplate a mass shooting.
It's a morbid connection that suicide and homicide are the second and third leading causes of death for those between the ages of 10 and 24.
I think that a lot of people are looking for a mental health solution without necessarily knowing what that mental health solution is.
Jordan Estrada is certainly familiar with the issue as a first responder, spending the last 15 years helping organizations put together active shooter response plans. Using that background and experience, he wants to focus on prevention by connecting potential killers with those willing and able to help.
So Let's Talk to Them is a new initiative that is attempting to reach potential mass shooters, individuals who might be ideating or planning a mass shooting, with a message of deterrence and redirection onto a better path.
Let's Talk to Them started in 2020 following the back-to-back tragedies in Uvalde, Texas, and Buffalo, New York. In those cases, both shooters bought their weapons after turning 18 and used social media as their sounding board.
If somebody Googles or searches for any word relating to suicide, they have a response of websites to click into and phone numbers to call 24 hours a day.
Ken Churchill started Talent Adventures to help fund initiatives improving societal health like Let's Talk to Them. In this case, he points out how big tech search engine optimization on the topic of self-harm can provide help for anyone browsing the internet with self-destructive thoughts or questions. Compare that to search results on statements like, "I want to commit a mass shooting," where there's not one link to help. Instead, you can find step-by-step instructions on how to carry out a mass shooting in Google's top 3 results.
And while they're searching for that, we could be searching for them and reach out to them, try to create a connection, try to engage them, and give them thoughts about other paths.
I was going to attack either my school or a mall food court. Really didn't matter to me which one. It wasn't about the people. It was about the largest amount of damage in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of security.
During a TEDx talk, Aaron Stark shares how he strongly considered mass murder until help from a friend stopped his plans. Today, Stark helps Estrada and Churchill try to better understand that mindset. The team is searching for content, media, blogs, and videos that might speak to anyone contemplating mass violence.
We want to make sure that it connects with the mindset of these individuals in a way that does not encourage or incite them to continue, but rather de-escalates them, calms them down, gets them to pause, gets them to think.
Let'sTalkToThem.com is the introduction page. It shares their vision to help. However, an undisclosed dark web page is now fully operational, connecting potential mass shooters with redirectional content and chat features.
At this point, are engaging with them and encouraging them to hit buttons on our website that make a phone call to 988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. But it's their choice to do the connection. The second thing that we have on the website currently is a live human 24-hour-a-day chat feature where specialists, particularly in suicide and other types of harm, these are Christian people, that they could choose to be in a chat. It's offered on our website.
The organization says this isn't about surveillance or espionage. Instead, the goal is to be a light shining into the dark corners of the web. Each situation varies, however, so police could potentially get involved. Estrada says the reason behind his decision to help is because God's love is for everyone, even some capable of committing mass violence.
Not only are we trying to prevent this horrific act from happening, we're also trying to reach out and save and redeem that individual themselves with the belief that, every life is sacred.
I do believe hope is a full-throated acknowledgement of the reality of sin and its effects in the world in the view of a resurrected Christ. And Let's Talk to Them brings hope to people.
Brody Carter, CBN News.
Still ahead, we're going to sit down with Christian artist, recording artist KB. He's talking about his latest music project and sharing why he believes it's his most vulnerable one to date. Stay with us. You're watching CBN Newswatch. He's known as KB. He's a husband, father, author, podcaster, and rapper. His new album is called His Glory Alone 2. It is his 5th project and his most vulnerable. Take a look.
Second letter, you don't want to play with them. Yeah, these ain't really songs, they painkillers. Tell them take 2 when the grace said it. Who saved us? Homie, they didn't. I just gotta get it. I just got a vision. Everything to put us out of business. Went up out of business.
project.
Yes.
Glory Alone 2.
Yes.
What's different about this?
So it's my latest project, and I guess I could put it like this: it's made by the latest version of myself.
Oh, I like that.
And I think that the latest version of myself is a more mature, more vulnerable, a more healed, more focused, but also I think more aware of the complexities and the messiness of this world. Things were a lot clearer to me when I started my career, you know, like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. You just thought the world was black and white, you know what I'm saying? Good and bad. But as I've gotten old and I have children and I am meeting all different kinds of people, and life itself is more and more difficult. You're losing people you love, friendships, and people die around you. You're finding that those simple answers aren't enough. You need to go deeper in your relationship with God, deeper into the scripture, lean into the wisdom of the Spirit. So that has created a more complex, more nuanced, but I think more helpful approach to music that's very much present in the new album.
Let's dive into a couple of the tracks. I'll dive first into the one that hit me the hardest. I think there's so many of us who struggle with daddy issues. Tell me about what made you open up and what, and pen that song.
Yes, excellent question. I, throughout my 20s, felt like I was immune to my daddy wounds. Being a young person in Jesus, I thought I was in a lot more control. And as I got older, I found that I can't control anything. This is why the Bible says, do not take a lot of confidence in tomorrow. Because tomorrow's not even promised to you. You can't control your children, your wife, your friends, your pastor, your community. You are here trusting Jesus. I thought that I was in control until the complexities of my experience showed me that I was still bleeding in a lot of ways. And I found that what was driving a lot of what I was doing was the approval of my father that was not there. And it made this powerful opportunity for me, created this powerful opportunity for me to hear the words of my Father in heaven as he spoke to his son at his baptism and said, "This is my son in whom I am well pleased." Not because of what he has done. He hasn't done anything yet. Jesus was just at his baptism. This is favor, pleasure in his son because of who he is.
How does that inform fatherhood? You've got 3 kids, correct? How does that inform fatherhood?
I'm getting to introduce to them what God is like by how I discipline, how I love, how I'm patient, how I forgive, how I show mercy. And in my trying to shape their little, toddler and young babies' souls, I find myself healing at the same time because I'm getting to be the father that I never had.
Another single from the project, Miracles?
Yes.
I've been trying, I've been asking why we God allowed this. If we were never lost, then we would never know what found us. I put no wish in no fountains. I just remember the mountains, moving when we were surrounded. How many times he found us?
You can be so fixated waiting for him to move that one way you need him to move. I need you to move right here that you forget that he is already moving all around you. And there was a song, Brandon Lake was a part of that song, a few other brothers, about counting these miracles that God is doing around you. And our posture has been, it'd be a shame if we take that thing and make it a hip-hop crossover worship.
Yeah, I like it.
So we can do that over here as well. And that's what we did. And I got to get the big homie Lecrae on there. I think he and our relationship in a lot of ways is a great story of redemption and restoration, genuine friendship, having each other's back, and that in and of itself is miraculous.
How are you feeling about album number 5?
A question. Man, probably about a month ago, if you asked me that question, I'd be like, man, this might be it, right? This is too much.
I think in the end you did say something like, am I retiring? Am I quit? Yeah,
I'm like,
you did.
I was recording that. That was like one of the last songs I recorded. I was like, I don't know. But by God's grace, I'm actually feeling very hopeful. I've spent this is the first tour I've done this year, and I spent a significant amount of time just spiritually healing, and spiritually, mentally, and physically healing.
KV's new album is called His Glory Alone 2. It's available right now wherever you stream, download, or purchase your music. And of course, you can catch Studio 5 on the CBN News Channel tonight at 8:30 Eastern. You can also watch it on the CBN News app or on YouTube. Stay with us. Your Wednesday Word is coming up next. Without the photo, this would be unbelievable. A bear looks like he is on an adventure as he peeks out of the sunroof of this car. The car's owner, Derek Klein, didn't lock up his car as his family was vacationing in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. That opened the door for a bear to climb in and munch on some peanuts left in the console. However, the car owner says the bear spooked itself when it hit the horn, but it did strike a pause before hightailing it out of there. Well, I tell you. Time now for your Wednesday Word, and today's word is joy. Remember this, the joy of the Lord is indeed your strength. Make this a day where you shout joy over and over again. Joy, 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 joy. Walk in the joy of the Lord and make this a wonderful Wednesday. And be sure to have yourself a wonderful rest of the week as well. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. I want to remind you, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time, as well as online. That address is cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us. You can do that at the address right there on your screen. That's newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We certainly would love to hear from you. We look forward to seeing you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.